My dear fellow Americans, we are all feeling tremendous anxiety with only a few weeks left to the election. This will be the most important election in American history. We were once a country of freedom, and now we're becoming a country of tyranny. We are witness to our own people burning down and looting our cities: Ferguson, Missouri; Milwaukee; Orlando, Florida; Baltimore. We are all witness to our own people killing our policemen. Islamic terrorists have killed thousands of people all over our country. And Hillary and Obama want to be politically correct and pretend all the killings are not happening.
There are a lot of those who think, look, this is violent extremism. It has no relationship whatsoever to Islam. You can't even talk about that. If you say, look, not that we have a problem with Islam, but I would say we have a problem with movements within Islam, then you must be an Islamophobe. But what they want to do when they call you an Islamophobe is they want to shut you down.
How many Americans are aware of George Soros?
George Soros is known to have exclusive access to top U.S. policymakers. George Soros is now one of the top donors to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign.
Soros also collapses regimes. With his Open Society Fund, which was founded in 1979, Soros has helped fund the Velvet Revolution in the Czech Republic, the Orange Revolution in the Ukraine, the Rose Revolution in Georgia. He also helped engineer coups in Slovakia, Croatia, and Yugoslavia. So what is his target now? Us, America.
An evil man who turned hundreds of Jewish people over to the Nazis to be exterminated during World War II. He was interviewed on 60 Minutes and was asked, does he feel guilty for what he has done? And arrogantly he said, absolutely not. If I didn't do it, someone else would have.
When he had to go over and take the lands from the people, his Jewish friends and neighbors, who were being sent to the gas chambers, I can't imagine what that would do to a teenager or anybody, an adult. Well, what did it do to George Soros? In an interview with Steve Kroft, Soros was asked if he felt guilt at all about taking the property from the Jews as a teenager. He responded, no. He also said, quote, I don't deny the Jews their national existence, but I don't want to be a part of it.
The happiest year of my life, that year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, you know, because you see incredible suffering around you, and in fact, you're in considerable danger yourself. But you're 14 years old and you don't believe that it can actually touch you. You have a belief in yourself, your belief in your father. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
Soros is a billionaire who made most of his money manipulating currencies and almost bankrupting many countries.
Economies would collapse. Currencies would become worthless. Elections would be stolen. Regimes would fall. And one billionaire would find himself coincidentally at the center of it all. He started what would become the Quantum Fund, which he would use to attack currencies all across the globe. He later would be blamed for the financial collapses in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia. And who could forget that he was the man who broke the Bank of England in 1992?
The money that I made on this particular transaction, the estimate is about $1 billion.
He supports hate groups who are responsible for taking down our cities.
He's funding communist revolutionaries in America. He's funding La Raza, and he's funding Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter is now being sued by a black Dallas police officer. Sergeant Demetric Penny claims Black Lives Matter and their supporters have incited a, quote, race war and violence against police. Al Sharpton, George Soros, President Obama, and Hillary Clinton all named in that lawsuit.
We now have positive proof here that John Podesta is in conversation with a left-wing activist. His name is Sandy Newman. The conversation is this: how can we create a revolution in the Catholic Church? What kind of seeds need to be planted? And Podesta says, oh, we've been working on that. We set up these groups, Catholics in Alliance for the Common Good and Catholics United, two phony groups, which, by the way, are funded by George Soros.
And he is a close friend of Hillary Clinton and a major supporter of her campaign.
George Soros is one of Hillary's biggest campaign donors. This guy is dumping millions and millions of dollars into Hillary's campaign.
We need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
Robert De Niro is a millionaire, as are so many of our Hollywood stars who are voting for Hillary, and who have absolutely no tolerance for anyone of a different opinion, forgetting that that is what our country is founded on, freedom of choice. But they will not be affected by Hillary's open borders. Only our poor and middle class will suffer. Thousands of refugees will flood our nation, and no one will know the good guys from the bad guys. It will kill our economy, which is at an all-time low now under the years of Obama's presidency.
Millions of refugees are pouring into Europe and the United States from the Middle East, desperately trying to escape the horrors of ISIS, in many cases. George Soros, the billionaire financial guy and friend to Hillary Clinton, says, hey, that crisis, it's the new normal. And according to a memo from his organization, quote, the refugee crisis is opening new opportunities for attracting new donors and reforming migration at the global level.
Made 3 points. They think that they've been successful at influencing immigration policy across the world. They think that the refugee crisis is an opportunity to continue doing so. And they think the refugee crisis is the new normal. And George Soros is this guy who is a staunch advocate for open borders. He wants people to be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason. And for him, he sees this immigration policy, this crisis, as a vehicle to further his immigration agenda and his open borders policy. This is a man who's made billions off other people's economies failing, and he sees this crisis as an opportunity where he can benefit. And instead of seeing it from a humanitarian perspective, he sees it from a business one.
Okay, and we know this because of some of these leaked documents that now are embarrassing him and Hillary and the Democrats.
And Hillary boasts of how proud she will be to continue Obama's legacy. No one can afford health insurance now. Prices for health care have gone through the roof thanks to Obamacare. Our once reasonable health care is gone. With Hillary as president, we will lose our Second Amendment with our right to bear arms. Freedom of religion will be attacked, and Hillary will try to stop all conservative voices on TV and radio. Our highest courts will become socialist.
Hillary, she is a very dangerous radical, Marxist communist.
Capitalism is not directly opposed to open society. Nevertheless, it poses some serious threats.
Says democracy, he means Sorosocracy. He doesn't mean what we might otherwise think of democracy. He wants to wreck Europe. That's why he's for all these open borders and these vast numbers of people coming in.
And she will restrict what America was founded on, our freedom to become a small business owner and pursue our own personal dreams. She has blood on her hands from the Benghazi terrorist raid. 4 of our American patriots died. And when the parents stood over their loved ones' coffins, she lied to them about the cause of their sons' deaths. The pendulum of freedom is not balanced. Hillary and her followers are on a crude campaign to stop and degrade all of Trump's followers. Her words were echoed loud and clear for all Americans to hear. Hillary said, Trump's followers are a basket of deplorables. They are unredeemable.
Grossly generalistic. You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
May God protect the real truth. And may Donald Trump win this presidency He will save our America.
Soros has been funding research of critics of Islam. So this is him using his nonprofits funding opposition research, critics of radical Islam, and they also wanted to discredit the Israeli government.
I've not been very engaged in Israel.
Why not?
I think there are enough Jews to take care of Israel.
His tentacles are everywhere. What is he going through all of this trouble for, to achieve? Well, globalization. George Soros believes, quote, the main obstacle of a stable and just world order is the United States. Let that sink in for a minute.
This is a man who wants the world to be one global society without borders or individual governments. One global society.
People generally play with a certain set of rules. I am particularly interested in changes in the rules of the game.